It's lovely weather outside, which is great, because in weather like this you could wander admiring nature while listening to a book. Listen to a book, I hear you say? Listen? Surely one reads a book, and one would read a book. I've spoken about reading books many times on this channel, so you know I have a lot of books, but I also have a lot of audiobooks. Typically, I will listen to them using Audible. By listen to them using Audible, I mean I subscribe to Audible every so often, usually when they're doing one of those deals, 99 pence a month for 3 months, in order to grab 3 random books. Sometimes it's stuff I really, really want, and I'll download them using the Audible app to something like this. This is the Hi-Bi M300. It's a digital audio player. It's Android powered. It's Android driven. And I use it mostly for listening to podcasts, in fairness, but I also have the Big Finish app for Doctor Who audios and the Audible app for other things on here. And I do have a lot of audiobooks like that, and I quite like listening to them when I'm out and about, when I'm travelling somewhere. Like sometimes I'll think to myself, I really want to listen to 13 hours of somebody reading a book to me. Ideal. But that's obviously not the only way to listen to audiobooks, and that's what we're going to touch upon in this in this video, because I recently picked up something. But before we talk about that, let's talk about audiobooks in general. As a kid, when I thought of audiobooks, I thought of them as being the type of thing that vision impaired people tended to gravitate towards, and in fact I have things like this. This is Batman Returns on audio cassette. It's an abridged version of the novel. It's on 2 audio cassettes. I picked this up cheap recently, 50 pence I think it was, and it is an ESAB edition, which is a blind charity, a blind supporting charity. So the idea that just because you can't see the words doesn't mean you can't appreciate writing. And so I have things like this. I have things like on CD. Again, I will have picked this up cheap at some point. This is the unabridged. It's on 5 compact discs. This is the unabridged edition of Max Brooks's World War Z, or World War Z, which was made into a movie starring Brad Pitt, but was originally a book, and it's an oral journal of zombies have taken over the world. It's an oral journey of the people who are trying to survive through that outbreak. It's a very, very good book. It's a great audiobook. It was a film that was made. Then you get things like this. I mean, so this is Star Wars: The Jedi Academy trilogy. Again, three books, 3 double audio cassettes. It's an abridged version. Who reads? I can't tell you. Oh, read by Anthony Heald. I have those along with a number of other things as paperback books. I like reading the books. I've listened to the audios. I don't mind. More recently, I did pick these up, and I picked this one up first because I quite like the work of Edgar Allan Poe. I particularly like Christopher Lee's narration on anything. I've got The Exorcist by Christopher Lee as well. That's definitely worth listening to if you've never listened to. If you've never read / listened to The Exorcist, it's just phenomenal, written by him. And the reason for buying these was I quite like this, that it's 2 cassettes. Instead of having both cassettes on one side and all of the text on the other, they've done this little. It's not that groundbreaking, but it's still an interesting way of breaking it up. I then picked this up. This is Day of the Triffids. Again, I enjoyed the TV adaptation. I enjoy the books. Actually, I enjoyed both TV adaptations because there was one recently. When I say recently, it's probably 10 years ago now. The film was very much like World War Z, a film that happened. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about these. Oh, no. We're talking about something else. This is the Playaway all-in-one audiobook. These libraries and institutions in general have this type of thing, and I was in my local main library recently, and they were selling a bunch of CDs and audiobooks, and I went through them, and it was one of those things where, despite the fact there was such a range of stuff, there was nothing that leapt out to me until I got to the audiobook section. And the first thing that leapt out to me was, I can't remember if I've said before, but I quite like compilation CDs. Something else I quite like is anthologies or short story collections. So when I saw this, the Time Traveller's Almanac, featuring the ultimate treasury of time travel stories featuring Harry Turtledove, Gene Wolfe and Naylor Hopkinson. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what's on this, but for 50 pence across, 12 CDs I think this is? So open it up. Across 12 CDs, I thought, you know what, for 50 pence, I'll take a punt at it. It's only been taken out 3 times in its history. Look, there you go, 3 times. In November 2016, April 2017, November 2018. So there we go. And I thought, you know what, for 50 pence I'll pick that up. Why not? I will listen to them because it's short stories. I like that type of thing. Something else I picked up again just because it was 50 pence is Low Chicago, George R.R. Martin's Wild Cards series. I have a couple of those books. I haven't read them, but I quite like that. I quite like the cover. I quite like the idea of it. In the aftermath of World War II, the Earth's population was devastated by a terrifying alien virus. Those who survived were changed forever. Some, known as Jokers, were cursed with bizarre mental and physical deformities. Others, granted superhuman abilities, are known as Aces. Wildcards tells the stories of this world. There we go. William Hope narrates it. You know, may listen to this one day, but I quite like the cover. But that's not what we're talking about. No. We're talking about, where's it gone? We're talking about this. The Playaway. So, like I say, institutions have this, and while these are on CD, which you would expect from modern audiobooks, this fascinated me. Genuinely fascinated me, because I opened it thinking, oh, that's actually quite a funky box. What does it mean by the all-in-one audiobook? Even though it's got a picture of it on the front, I wasn't expecting this. And as a result of seeing this, just to show you on the back, just to show you what we're getting, I became enamoured with the idea, so much so that I bought 4 others. And well, I added 4 others to them. Here they are. Now, this is a book I didn't particularly want. I've never heard of it. It doesn't interest me. I may change my mind. I may start listening to it and be completely enthralled. But this is the original case they came in. These, not so much. But these are books I can imagine myself reading. Jackdaw. A man who calls himself the Jackdaw has been abducting financial sector workers in London. He believes they must be punished for their crimes of greed and for causing the banking crisis. Got me sold there. Versions of Us, which I'm pretty sure I've seen somewhere else. Eva and Jim are 19 and students at Cambridge when their paths first crossed in 1958. And then there is David, Eva's then lover, an ambitious actor who loves Eva deeply. Versions of Us follows 3 different courses their lives could take following this first meeting. Lives filled with love, betrayal and ambition, but through it all is a deep connection that endures whatever fate might throw at them. Has it been made into a TV series? It sounds like the type of thing that would have done it. Living on Netflix, probably starring Leo Woodall. The Fixer, Joseph Finder. I quite like Joseph Finder's books. They're when I say easy reading, I don't mean that they're simple to read. I just find them compelling. When Rick Hoffman loses his job and apartment, his only option is to move back into and renovate the home of his miserable youth, now empty and in decay since his father's stroke. But when he starts to pull it apart, he makes an electrifying discovery that will put his life in peril and change everything he thought he knew about his father. I've read that. And it's a good book. Like I said, I like Joseph Finder stuff. The last one was the autobiography of Jack the Ripper. I don't need to tell you what this one is about. If you don't know who Jack the Ripper is, chances are you shouldn't be watching this video. No, that's a lie. If you don't know who Jack the Ripper is, Google him. And the reason for buying this, apart from the fact I really like the story of Jack the Ripper. It's a slightly different model to the first one that I showed you. So if I just compare two of these, it says I'm able to get one of them out. Very similar to the last model, the first model I showed you. This is slightly different. There we go. Just put them side by side like this. There we go. And this is what interested me about them, because I'd never seen these before. And at first I didn't understand the logic of them. I thought, alright, it allows them to pump a book onto it. You know, like they're probably really inexpensive devices, allows them to pump a book onto it. But why? Because you can't just pump any book onto it. They're self-contained devices. They have no USB port. At the bottom they have, I mean this model at the bottom, on the side, we'll go on the side first, it has an earphone jack. It has a little lanyard thing at the bottom, but no connections apart from that. And that's what fascinated me about it, because you can't do much with them apart from play the book on them. Now, a bit of research tells me that I can open it up and rewire something on the inside and, you know, make it so that I can put other things on them, but I'm not going to do that, mainly because I don't have the technical ability to. And looking at it, it's quite difficult to get into. Oh, the other thing is, they're powered by a single AAA battery. It goes in the battery thing there. You get the cover, which fits obviously over it. You get about 20 hours of play out of it. Now, again, like I say, I didn't really know much about them, so I thought I would take a bit of a dive into them. And it turns out that the company is still around today. And they're still releasing books at the moment to libraries. Yeah, typically they're about $70 or $80, maybe slightly more. And once you've bought it, the library doesn't have to pay a subscription charge. You don't renew anything. You've just bought it. And very much like audiobooks in any library, you stick them, well, books in any library, you stick them on a shelf, you know, and you build a collection of them that way, and people can just choose the one that they want. They can read the back of the box and all the rest of it. None of them came with batteries, but these bigger boxes obviously allow you to fit in a little battery. It's got a little slot for a battery and a place for a set of headphones, should you want to, I don't know, provide headphones. I imagine most people can get hold of headphones themselves, and because it's a little jack, you can plug it into anything that has that type of connection as well. They're not Bluetooth enabled, but they're not designed to be. They're designed for a very specific purpose, and that purpose is to get audiobooks into the hands of people who don't want to faff around with apps or sign-ins or anything like that. You know, like with a library, you typically sign up to the library, but after that, that's the only thing you need to do. You just need to tap your card or show it or whatever to get your book out. But with this type of thing, you don't have to download an app, you don't have to update, you're not going to find out your technology's out of date, and you can't do anything with it ever. You know, you can't get the book you want or whatever. Why is that beeping at me? You know, right after last time, let's put this on. Let's put my phone on silent, because we don't want to be disturbed, do we, while I'm waffling. So like I said, the company's still around today. Now, Playaway, the player itself, was introduced in 2005, and I believe that Jack the Ripper one that I showed you is not that one, because that's the fixer. Still, let's put that back in there. I believe the Jack the Ripper one I first showed you, where's it gone? Oh, it's here. I'm professional, aren't I? I think that's one of the earlier models. Now, it does say HD audio, and HD audio was added later in the cycle, but I believe this is one of the first ones, because one of the early models, because of the size of that screen and the way that the buttons are placed around it. The buttons on the front of this are speed, power, equalizer, volume up, volume down, play and skip. There we go. And it's even got a little guide at the bottom to show you what each of the buttons do. Later models had a bigger screen, and a simplified button layout. This has got speed, power, fast forward, rewind, skip, in either direction, play and pause. And also it has a lock setting, so if you press play and then press the power button straight away, it locks. So that you can't, if you stick it in a bag or in a pocket and something brushes against it, it doesn't get skipped. Very much like you get on some phones. On the iPod Touch that I used to have, there was a lock button to stop you skipping things or whatnot. So I'm just going to power one of these up just to show you what it looks like. Let's grab the battery. Let's put that down there. Let's start. So this is, again, the fixer. We can tell it's the fixer because it has the book cover on the back of it. We're going to pull the top. We're going to put the battery in the right way around. We're going to put the top back on. Got thrilling content for you all. Then we're just going to press the power button and it starts up. Look, backlit screen there. It should in a moment tell me what book's on here. I can't tell if you can see that. But yeah, and it tells me that chapter 1 is 25 minutes 22 seconds long. You may not be able to see that on the camera. Admittedly, I didn't think of that when I was filming the video, but there you go, learning curve for us all. Then like obviously you'd have your headphones plugged in. Headphones on this model got the bottom. Headphones plugged in, you'd be listening along, press play, walking, all the rest of it. And then to turn it off again, you just press and hold the power button. Press and hold the power button, you get a lovely little animation. And eventually it goes off. See you later, it says, just before it powers off. There we go. So again, straightforward operation. And also because it's a single, in theory, because it's a single purpose device, unlike my Hi-Bi, the little digital audio player, the app, it's never going to, it shouldn't ever crash because it's only got one purpose. Whereas I've had a number of issues with, and the I think I use Audiobooks for podcasts. Occasionally that app crashes, so you lose audio because it's not doing anything, it just stops. With this, you don't get that problem. So another issue taken away by this type of device. So they weigh barely over 50 grams. Even with the battery, and they're not particularly heavy, they're not particularly cumbersome, and because it's relatively robust as well, you can just throw it into a bag, whereas I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that with a touchscreen device. Even this, I carry it with me in this little like neoprene case thing, which I bought for a few quid on Amazon after I bought the player. The player cost a lot more than the case, obviously. Yeah. So it uses a AAA battery, gets you 20 to 30 hours, and there are thousands of titles available on this. I did a quick look on eBay just to see if I could pick up a bunch of them. I'm not picking up a bunch of these for 50p each on eBay, so these are an absolute bargain. In 2013, the device was redesigned to support high definition audio. Apparently, you can fit 80 hours of audio on them. I can't remember where I read that though, so I may have made that up. And yeah, so in 2013, high definition audio, which is what this one says. It says high definition audio, so this must be a later model. It's the original design upgraded. This, by contrast, is the later model because in 2016 LCD was added and the button layout was simplified, as I showed you before. Now, Playaway still exists as a company. They've been purchased by Penguin Random House, big book publisher. And the books are still being published on this, and I just thought I'd take a look to see how much they would set me back if I were able to buy them. In reality, I think you need to be an institution in order to buy these. You can't do it as a, not that I can imagine anybody doing it as a home reader unless they have a particular love for buying things and putting them on a shelf, says the man who's got all of this behind me. So as an example, Scott Sigler's The Crypt Void Strike is it's going to be released on September the 10th 2026. It's available to pre-order on Playaway.com, on shop.playaway.com for $75. Now, $75 for an audiobook sounds very expensive, but these aren't designed for me and you. They're designed for libraries to buy and what have you. So, I mean, very much like when video stores used to be a thing, they used to pay more than it. If they bought a new film to loan out, they weren't paying 20 quid. They weren't lipping to their local, like Asda to pick it up off the shelf, or they shouldn't have been, to pick it off the shelf and put it into the shop. So they got, so things were much more expensive. And even looking at some of these, so as an example, if I look at Fixer on here, I think Fixer is the one that I looked at yesterday, because I did do a bit of research for this. The Fixer, Joseph Finder, that book was released in 2015, and it's still available to buy now for $85.99. It's 9.5 hours long. So again, like I said, they're not designed for people like me and you to buy. I have these because they were 50p in a withdrawn stock sale in the library, 50p each. And that's the only way I've ever seen them. I don't remember seeing them anywhere else. I don't even remember. Up until going into the library, I didn't know this type of thing existed. And even now, I mean, you can use what's it called? BorrowBox. BorrowBox gives you free access if you're a library member, and signing up to a library in the UK is free anyway. So you can sign up to a library in the UK. You can download the BorrowBox app, sign in with the PIN number from your library card, and the barcode number from your library card, and the PIN that you get issued, though usually it's going to be an easy PIN to find. You can just ask them. In the case of Hull Libraries, I think the default PIN is the first 4 digits of your barcode number, and that gives you free access to ebooks, some periodicals, and audiobooks that you can just loan out and return. Very much like you would if you were visiting a library. It gives you access to all of the benefits of the library's stock without actually going into the library. How awesome is that? Can't download it onto my old iPad because it's out of date. You need iOS 15 to do it. I could download it onto the Hi-Bi though, because that uses Android 15, I think. So there are options there, and I mean it's great to be able to say, oh, well, why not just sign up to Audible? Because Audible costs, even at 99p a month, Audible costs, when they do those special offers. I think they sent me one recently, which was $3.99 for 3 months, and that'd be great. I could do that, except that I think to myself, I haven't listened to dozens of the audiobooks that I've bought. So having access to a library for this type of thing is phenomenal. It doesn't cost anything. There is a beauty of going into the library. The library yesterday, I nipped into the library yesterday. Lovely sunny day. There were people in the library. There were people in the library playing chess, doing research, looking for books. All of these services that we take for granted, but we don't necessarily see. Just going back to the BorrowBox example, the BorrowBox, very much like Audible or Amazon, means that you can scroll through a list of books, but you don't get recommendations. You get automatically delivered recommendations, top borrowed books or new in stock or whatever it happens to be. But, like the beauty of going into a library is it's the same as going into an actual bookshop, being able to speak to somebody, being able to say to that member of staff, oh, I particularly like the books of Joseph Finder. Can you recommend me somebody in that vein? And, depending on the type of book shop employee or library employee, they may speak to one of their colleagues to find somebody, but you'll be put in the right direction. Whereas, you can read through reviews or use AI to, I know that Amazon uses Rufus, has their AI tool Rufus, where you can put in questions and it'll point you in the direction, but there's still something nice about speaking to other people, trust me. I like the idea of these, I do, and because, like I said, when I first picked them up, I couldn't see the point of them. But as I've looked into it more and more, I like the idea of a single device with one book on it. I like the fact that it's not just, because when I looked at the front of it, I thought that's a bit of a boring front. Not that I was expecting, like it to be a magic trick or anything, but I like the idea that the cover's on the back. So that if you've got it in your bag, if you've got a bunch of them that you've just thrown into a pile, like me, not that I'm going to do that, but you could just pick one up and you'd instantly know what it is. And even this one, which is, this is more of a wraparound, so you've got the book cover on the back, but you've got the ISBN on the side, you've got some of the Indicia text on that side. I assume it's pronounced Indicia. I've actually never said that word. Yeah, that tells me 2012 on that one. Okay. Yeah. So you've got, it's... I have a love of cover art, and going back to the highball, the thing that I dislike about it is that the cover art, for all of the beauty that the artists have gone into in producing it, is really, really small. And not that it's any bigger on this, to be honest, but there is just something nice about having cover art on things. And also, it's what I like about it is it's a device that you can take with you and not think about. So I put books onto mini disc. Well, I typically it's audio players, so things like the Big Finish productions for Doctor Who, that type of thing. Some of the graphic audios, the Movie in Your Mind, which is adaptations of books, and some books, I think, and things like Marvel, Civil War, and like some of the DC stuff at one point. I've got them all through Humble Bundle. They're like 10-12 hours long, so I put them onto mini disc and print off the little artwork onto the label and name them and all the rest of it, and it's all great. And I like being able to swap out the mini disc. I like the tangibility of that. With this, you have to make a decision. You have to decide to start reading the book, and that's what I like about this. One of the things that put me off Netflix is scrolling effect, that you spend ages looking for something to watch, and I would rather, and I do it with books as well, I would rather pick up a book and decide to read it. There is that thing of, like you start reading I do look through my bookshelf. It's like if I was to choose a book from behind me, I would have to look through to see something I fancied reading. So yes, there is that aspect similar to Netflix, but I feel there's more attachment to picking up something physical instead of, just to use BBC iPlayer as an example, started watching something on that the other day. Got bored 15 minutes in, decided to do something else, stopped it, haven't gone back. Whereas with DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, if I start watching it, it's because I want to watch it, as opposed to it was conveniently there on an app. Went off on a tangent there, but what I'm saying is you would have to decide to listen to something like this. So I imagine I'm going to leave the house with one of these and listen to the book all the way through. Not like a 9-hour book. I'm not going anywhere for 9 hours, but there's potential of that. I could get on a train with this, and very much like I get on a train or a bus, or, like I'll go to a coffee shop with a book. I can do the same with this. It becomes a commitment to do something. In this case, none of these books sound disinteresting, but I've done it before with the Amazon Kindle. Because of the number of books I have on that, I've started reading the book, got bored 15 minutes in and stopped. And spent ages scrolling through the 37 pages of books I've got, looking for something else to read. And I don't do that with printed books. I don't do that when I'm listening to music either. If I start listening to an album, I listen to the album all the way through. Even on LP, I'll flip it over and listen to the rest of it. Sometimes I'll forget that I've listened to the first side and listen to the first side again, after listening to the second side, obviously. But yeah, so I love the idea of these. I do want to listen to. I think I'll listen to the autobiography of Jack the Ripper, because that does interest me. If I see some more, and the books are stuff that interests me, I might pick them up if they're really, really cheap. Because one of the great things about libraries is they withdraw stock quite often, and you tend to find that withdrawn stock, it's not going. You're not going to go into a library and find withdrawn stock, and it's going to be in pristine condition. I mean, this is in pretty good condition. This is volume 2 of the Savage Sword of Kull, which was released by Dark Horse. It's a Conan type thing. In fact, it collects selections from the Savage Sword of Conan. King Kull, Richard E. Howard, expert and legendary scribe Roy Thomas details Kull's mysterious early life from the time he was born to his enslavement by Lemurian pirates. This tome also includes stories from when Kull was king. So yeah, I bought this for a couple of quid. Didn't intend to, but it was there, and I quite like the idea of it because I quite like Conan as a character. There we go. Just to bring it back to comics, there we go. It's in black and white. But with this being library withdrawn stock, as you can tell there, it's got the barcode there. It'll have stamps on various pages. I can't find any at the moment, so I may be lying there. Does it have? It has like a stamp on the bottom, and it's also been put into this. In fairness, I could remove this sleeve because it does just come off. But it's got like a stock thing at the back as well. And one of the disadvantages of buying ex-library stock is it can be in terrible condition because it's something that's been read, and not everybody reads stuff in a library and keeps it pristine because, apart from the fact it's free at the point of use, there's not. It could have gone through hundreds of hands before you get to it. So, for me, yeah, I do have some ex-library books. I have an X.2 book, which is long out of print, and it's in an absolute state. But I'd never seen it before. As in, apart from on eBay where I saw it going for ridiculous money. So I picked that up, and I class it as a reader's copy. It's the same as somewhere I've got a Superboy thing that I bought in error. It was part of a job lot. I didn't buy it in error. It's part of a job lot. It's a library copy, and it's in a bit of a state, but it's part of my collection. I'm not gonna be sniffy about it. I do prefer books to have solid edges. I appreciate that they don't often have that if you're buying them second hand, and it's a judgment call. Will I buy it or won't I? It's based on how often have I seen this elsewhere to make me want to buy it in the first place. But going back to these, what I like about these is they're very, very robust. This one, the fixer, it had a couple of marks on it, but they're cleaned off. It's plastic, but they're in pretty good nick considering the plastic, probably because they've not been taken out that often. But again, so it is the type of thing that I could imagine myself just throwing into a pocket and forgetting about while I'm listening to it. But yeah, there we go. Spoke about that for longer than I thought I would. But because it was interesting at the end of the day, I think that's what we've learned here. If you've watched this far, I should have said this earlier. I should have said this at the start of the video. However much you watch, like, share and subscribe, or just like and subscribe. I don't mind the sharing bit. No, actually I do mind the sharing bit. Like, share and subscribe. That's what we're all meant to do. It should be a law. I want to get to 30 likes on a video. No, I don't. I want to get to 30 views on a video. 30 likes on a video would be miraculous. I was looking at my video performance the other day, and I think I averaged it to about 30 likes across 2 years worth of videos, so that's an achievement. That'll be a thing. That's my goal. 30 likes. Not 30 likes, 30 views. I'm getting all confused. 30, so I averaged my views the other day and got 30 somethings on every video. There you go. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching previous videos. Thanks for all the comments so far. I do read them. I'm not awash with comments. It doesn't take me hours to get through them. But yeah, thank you for everybody that's commented so far, and I'll speak to you again next time after I listen to the autobiography of Jack the Ripper on Playaway. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all later. Bye for now.